Well, hello everybody. Snigby here, going to start a new series here called Factorio. I don't know if you've ever seen this or anything. This series actually has me in the mood to try to start a little YouTube channel. So, hope you enjoy these episodes. We're going to run for roughly about 20 minutes apiece, make them a little short and sweet. Just so you know, I'm a very new player when it comes to this. I've only been playing 18 hours. Really, that is not long at all when it comes to Factorio. This is the 017 update that I'm playing in, the latest and greatest version of the system. I've been inspired a lot by Tuplex, Catherine of Sky, Needless a little bit. Just been watching them quite a bit on their streams. Really liked the system. My background, I actually am a engineer. Used to work in environmental engineering trades where had to set up pumps in the ground to remediate oil spills. Balance those through throughput, put them into a wastewater treatment system, an aeration system, and then ensure that the output was going some places. And so that's a real world experience that I've had, and I find that Factorio is a lot of that. It's really a lot of going in and starting to get some production going, working towards an end goal of building some sciences into the system. Once you have your sciences, you can start researching upgrades into building better machines, faster furnaces, and then as you do that, your resources are depleting throughout the time. There is a version here where normally you play with a critter called a biter. I'm not confident enough to go in there and lose to the biters yet, so when I deploy this new game here is going to be basically in peaceful mode. I'm going to turn off the biters completely. I don't want to play that. I really want to focus on the science at this point. After I get a couple of 100 hours under my belt, I may feel comfortable going in and approaching us from a attack the biters and defend against the biters. But for right now, we're really going to keep this pretty peaceful as we go through. Now, the thing I like about Factorio and some of the news changes they put out there, so if you've seen some 016 plays, this interface here for the exchange screen, when you went in to build out your preview, you weren't able to really see what was going on. Now, I'm not going to increase any of the frequency of any of the items, but I am going to max out the sizes of what's going on here. Again, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm really focusing on the gameplay of going out there and getting the ores, processing it through a mall, doing the research, and building up to launching that first that first rocket, which is where you quote unquote win the game. The great thing about that is when you win the game, you can continue to play and everything is good. So as I'm looking here, right now there's a lot of water on here. So if we come in here to terrain, we can start seeing that we have some other information. You'll see these things here. These are called cliffs. Again, I really have not enjoyed watching the people playing through cliffs. I think are distraction for a peaceful mode play. Something that you have to build through, and I'm really focusing my early adoption of this in really concentrating on getting the research tree down, understanding how to go through developing this out as we go through. I'll go ahead and change the moisture, drop this down a little bit, see what. No, that's not wrong. Moisture is all about the trees and the grasslands. It's the water I want to drop down and see how this looks. This is probably not a good thing because it only has a central island of water. So probably want to go ahead and zoom that in a little bit, get a little extra coverage to bring in a couple of extra lakes and ponds out here. Does that just make them bigger? Yeah. So covering up a little bit of my ore up here, not really liking that, so I'm going to back off just a little bit. This will put a pretty nice challenge, though, because as you'll notice, I have this really good patch of ores. I've got my iron, my copper, my coal, and my stone. Those are really the big things that you're going to need all at once, and they're right here. As I continue to expand and as I deplete these, again, they're very rich, so it'll take me quite a while. I can move on up, get some more coal. There's some oil and gas down in the lower quadrant here. There's some up north. It's actually a pretty fair distance away. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge just to get out there and bring this stuff back, the materials. Might even have to work on a train network. That's something I haven't played with yet. Really enjoy watching KOS, Catherine of Sky, build her trains. Nelos did a really good Mega Base series in 016, waiting for the 17 update to come out that had that out there. And so this will be interesting. Can I just go ahead and pump this in? Do we go ahead and build out our oil refineries up here a little bit closer to some of these information, or this water source that we'll need for cracking? A little bit of ores out here. Might have to do a little bit of land filling to get around, or just go around the horn. I think that'll be pretty nice. For a mall perspective of where I would actually build, I'll probably build north, maybe north or out to the east here. Yep, that's east, and work through this. Maybe put my smelting arrays here. Put the main bus line going out this way, and then build off north and south from here. That might be a good way of doing it. Otherwise, I could go north. If I go north, then I'm actually might go north and build off to the side, get some landfill to fill that little information in here. So this map preview, really like it. It's allows me to kind of plan out what I'm doing. You'll notice there's a little bit of trees here. There's a lot of desert going on. This is really not a huge issue whenever you're building on Paceful, because the pollution is one of those things that you have to worry about whenever you're playing with biters. All of your machines actually create pollution. I want to go ahead and leave that on just because it's a function out there, and I'd like to go ahead and take a quick peek at that every once in a while to start getting myself thinking about, if I'm going to be playing with biters in the future, what the pollution is going to do. One other thing I'm going to highly recommend that anybody that's starting this do is to go ahead and build out this research queue availability always. I kind of wish that was a default to always on. What this allows you to do is allows you to queue up multiple items of research, which allows you to kind of sit and plan about what you want to build out in the future, and then you don't have to kind of keep looking back at your research queue every time it completes up. There's good and bad for that. This way you have to think about them every single time that you're finishing up. This way you can plan a little bit more. I kind of like the ability to plan a little bit more as we go forward. I'm pretty happy with this string. I'm going to go ahead and save this map string so that I can use it later on down the road in case I have a crash or something. But I'm pretty happy with this. And let's go ahead and get stuck in. Thanks for that a little 10-minute interview and overview, and let's go ahead and jump into this. So when you start a new game, really the first thing that you want to do is start getting some of your resources. You're going to need a little bit of wood. You're going to need a little bit of stone as you go through. So one of the things I'm doing as I'm walking up here is I'm really looking for some big stone rocks. Anything like this is a wood tree that's fallen down. You can go ahead and mine that for wood. These rocks here, they only contain stone. And while stone is very important to have, you really want to get this where you have stone and coal. If you look over there on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see this is a huge rock. Health is 2,000, expected resource, so I'm actually going to get both coal and stone. And coal is very important when you start the process as well. That's how you're actually going to fuel some of your devices as we go through. And then we're going to really just get stuck into working through getting some resources. Now, in Factorio, the number one resource that you probably need to focus on at the beginning of the game is iron. Iron is huge. What I just placed down here was it's called a burner miner and a furnace, stone furnace. I'm going to go ahead and hold down right click and go ahead and put 25 coal in each one of these. And what's happening here is this burner miner is mining out some ore, some iron ore in this case, and it's going ahead and putting it into my stone furnace, and the stone furnace is going through and it's smelting that ore as it comes through. So right now I've already have 3 plates, 4 plates that we put in there, brings my grand total up to 12. Now there are some other ore types here. You have your copper, which is kind of wrapped around that. We've got my my coal up here, which we'll need here in just a few minutes. We'll start to do some exciting things on that. And we have stone. Now, in the previous playthroughs, some of those items were not as important as others. But as you'll see as we go forward here, stone has become very important in some of our research queues that we're going to need here in a little bit. Military science, so on and so forth. So I'm just go ahead and chop up some of these stones. Now, one of the reasons I'm chopping stone here is to go ahead and get the copper. I'm sorry, the stone and the coal. It's a great early source of coal as we go through. I'm going to go ahead and put some of these items on my toolbar here so that I can go ahead and lay down a couple of more of these items. And again, I'm going to hold down Control. Right click is going to put half a stack in each one of these, so I put 25 coal when I was being used as we speak. And we go on. Control left click will actually pull things out of this if you have nothing in your hand. Control left click if you're holding your coal will put a full stack of coal into a device. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out as we go through. Now, the first thing I'm really doing here is I'm just going through and building out some miners, some of our stone furnaces. When you are looking at your crafting queue, if you right click on this, it gives you 5 of that item. If you left click, it pulls up 1. If you control click, it actually does the whole stack. I'm sorry, it's a shift click, it does a whole stack. And you can always shift click down at the bottom and cancel that. I'm going to go ahead and first bring up all of my furnaces because we're going to need furnaces here in a little while anyway. But we're going to go ahead and continue to work through this where we are running through coal and collecting up some iron. At this point, I really need to get my coal situation resolved. I actually have 4 burner miners that I can create, and that's actually a pretty good number because there's a little trick that you can do with your burner miners. So as these get completed, as you'll notice, if I hover my miner over some of this ore, you'll notice that over here it's all stone, here it's half stone, half coal, here it's all coal. You pretty much want to get all of one resource. I bet if I did this I would get all 3 resources, and that would be a real mess. But I'm just going to go ahead and focus on only trying to pull in some coal. I'm going to lay down 4 miners here. We're going to go ahead and put one coal in, and what that's going to do is it's actually going to load up the next miner. So it's going to mine its ore. It's going to push that ore into the second one. The second one's going to mine some ore, push it into the third one. The third one's going to mine some ore, push it into the fourth one, and so on and so forth. And so what you'll see here is that over time, our inventory actually starts to increase in each one of these miners. So as we come on, because of the way it works, I can go out there and collect coal from the inventory of the miners, and now I have coal that allows me to come in here and continue my process of mining some ores, moving through with that, and then continue to build out things like burner miners and so on and so forth. Now at this point, I've got a few logs out here. I'm going to need probably a handful of wooden chests to work through here. I do need some more stone to make some more furnaces later on down the road as we continue to ramp up our production. We also need to start thinking about not doing hand mining, where we're going through and pulling things out with our hands, but doing some automation. So that'll probably be in the next episode. I got about 5 minutes left on my 20-minute goal for each of these videos. So hopefully I can go ahead and start the process of picking up some more coal, some more stone, and so on and so forth, clearing out where I'm going to be running my my bus here in a little while. This is one of those areas that this task will need to be done eventually. While I'm waiting on my resources to be mined, I probably, I can go ahead and continue to work through here. Now that I have those miners here, I can continue to come in here and stretch out this this goal. So I'll go ahead and add, let's go ahead and do 3. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't put drill there because there's no ore. 10. So we'll do 10 of those, stretch those out, put those up there. And I also want to start a little bit of copper mining. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of copper drills down, get those laced out. And oops, let's go ahead and do this a little bit differently. I'll go ahead and put this in my hand, hold control, and what it does is it puts half of each item in there, and now I'm actually getting some copper plates. These copper plates are going to be important as well, because with those I can start to now make small electric poles. We can also come in here and continue the attack of getting more and more resources as we continue. I also have a couple of drills over here, and so what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and put down a chest. We'll go ahead and put some coal in each of those, and we're going to start mining up some stone. I got some more coal here so I can continue the process of filling these out. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of coal out of there and put it back down here, and then continue actually coming in and pulling out all that iron plate. Now at this point you'll notice that I have I can make some more burner miners, and I might do that, but I also have this boiler and a steam engine that I can come in and work. We're going to do electricity on the next episode, so at this point I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off a little bit early. Just go ahead and ask you guys to leave a like on here, do a little subscribe. This is a brand new channel. I've never done this with YouTube before. I'm really looking forward to seeing the response that I get from everybody. My goal here is to spend a little bit of time recording on the weekends, schedule these for uploads throughout the week, see how we do on that, go back in, do the next weekend, and go on from there. I'm going to go ahead and try to do 2 games, so if anybody's a Lord of the Rings Online fan, just be aware that you may also see some additional content for a MMO, an old-fashioned MMO like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft? Yeah, I think that's what it was. That was out there in the past. I've always liked Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to go ahead and think about recording some of that information as well. But looks like I got a pretty good start here, pretty good handle on what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. Go ahead and start this uploading and see what kind of reaction we get. Thanks everybody for watching my video. This is Snigby signing off on Factorio Episode 1. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.